when there was the switch to the next year, many people always have their new plans and new ideas. What's going to change in the next year and what you're gonna start to let go of, and what maybe is going to be something new that you are starting to integrate into the next life. Sometimes it's also good to realize whether you are already sometimes caught within some type of a habit, and to take a step back, especially at these times when anyway things are slowly getting more quiet. I would suggest that everyone takes a personal small retreat. That means retreating back to yourself and really ask yourself that question. What is it essentially that you are looking for living this life? Regardless of how old you are right now, how much of where you want to go did you achieve already? And also, are you actually still finding yourself on the way to wherever you wanted to go? So first of all, before we even know which future direction you would like to go towards, number one is we need to know where are we actually standing right now. Observe your surroundings. They can give you an indication where you are right now. Look around you, one indication. Second of all, look inside of you. How do you feel about the way of life that you are at the moment living? You had almost 365 days from that current year right now. How do you feel about it? Where did it brought you? Where did you decline? Where were you able to increase something about you? So number one is find out what is the status quo. Where are you located at the moment? And it is similar, like sometimes in a few Buddhist stories we are saying, before you know in which direction to sail, first of all, you need to know where you're located. Because the journey is not for everyone the same. In the way of what we are trying to share, we are trying to share methods, certain principles. But ultimately what needs to be done is that an individual person is starting to take all of these methods and applies them very specifically to your own personal way of, let's say, understanding. Not just to stay in the world of thinking about these things, thinking about the outcome and thinking about what they just felt, because to manifest them and writing them down gives another quality to it, let's say. And so therefore, yes, what you want, what you create in the mind, it's all about manifesting. If you are starting into the next year, into your next period, but you keep on having the same things over and over again that are already inside of you since the last 20 years, nothing too much new gonna come, because there is something already too hard inside of you. You're stuck already with a conceptual view about how this life is supposed to look. And this is sometimes why we call you have the physical practice to keep your body healthy and running along this lifetime. But then we have the spiritual practices, the ones that don't have so much to do anymore with the physicality. They have something to do with opening up, allowing your mind to get free of the concepts, get free of the things that have been accumulating inside of ourselves, and that from time to time then start to block ourselves. And this is why we have those physical practices, mental practices, and both of them, the more you're able to let go, the farther you're going to proceed. The more your willingness and your ability to let go, the more changes are gonna come. It's just like this. For new things to come, old things must go. And now, just as I mentioned, there is the willingness, first of all, to let go. And then there is your skill level, your abilities. Can you, even if you want? There is a certain degree that you can already help or support yourself in letting go, learning what does it mean to let go. But sometimes there are also things that are caught within us that you just cannot reach by yourself. And this is the moment where sometimes you need support, where sometimes even if the willingness is there and you even maybe can see what it is that is stuck inside of you, but sometimes you need a person, more persons, or sometimes you need an additional support to get rid of it. So, and who are the ones that are able to proceed from there on? Only the ones that went deeper. And this is where it's ending once again, why we have walls around here. Because you have a lot of time for yourself. And if you are putting the right effort into it, the right concentration to it, and the right meditation to it, there is a type of depth that you can then develop, which an average person normally does not have the time for. Everybody can achieve it if you are investing enough of the effort, enough of the training into it, enough of the time in really watching inside of yourself. Let's say I'm starting my project, and once I'm clear for myself, this is the one I take. This is the one I take. Then meanwhile, I don't even have doubt that this idea in here will take reality. I don't even have that doubt that it will not take place. Because for me right now, it is that I try with my intentions. Just figure out right now, who else? What else do I need? What is it that is in my hands right now to make that plan come true? Which obstacles do I maybe have to remove? And which other people or other things do I maybe need to take in that idea? And then it starts. If I have some people on my mind, the writing starts, the contacting starts. If I see already, okay, there are a few obstacles right now we need to get rid of, then the daily work goes into, okay, remove the obstacles. And yes, and why I am saying that at the moment I am trusting this process so much, that I'm trusting that idea so much that it will come real, is because I'm clear of my intentions. And as arrogant as it sounds, but I do think that this intention is very much in line of what I think this world is needing right now. We used to say in our tradition, for example, if something appears in your lifetime that you like, you see something that you like, or you hear something that you like, so something comes there into your lifetime and you like it, then we say, don't pull. If something appears in your lifetime that you don't like, that means that you would normally reject, there we say, don't push. And where does it come from? And in this example, it means if I start to pull it towards me, so I like it, that's why I want to keep it as good as I can, and I want to bring it even closer to me than it really is. Then what is going to happen is, one day when the time comes, whatever you try to pull towards you, it's simply going to move even away from you. At the same time, something comes and you rejected it right from the beginning. It's just a question of time until whatever you push away from you starts to move very close to you. You just need to watch around you from the moment that we are born. From the moment that we are born, your amount of inhalation and exhalation is exactly 50-50. The amount of days and the amount of nights until right now, it's 50-50. Yeah? So that means it looks like this nice wave function, this wave form. And in many different traditions, it's a simple expression that we say, nothing stays the way how it is. Success never stays success, because success is based upon failure. A healthy person never will stay only healthy. He is healthy because sickness exists. A rich man never stays rich forever. He's only rich right now because poorness also exists. And now the question is like this. If you realize this for yourself and you see that, yes, somehow right now it's really good, my business is going good, my health, I'm really fine, everything is great. But then you also realize, yes, but now I'm at this one. Now I feel like now I'm about to lose a lot of things. Now it's not working good. I don't know what's wrong. So then you invest again energy and push yourself up. And you realize, I have the skills, I have the knowledge, I know how to do it. That's why it's working. But no matter how hard I try, again it starts to descend. It's like it's not in my hands anymore. And then for us the question is simply like this. After you are observing this type of structure of life, often enough, maybe one day we're gonna ask ourselves, there must be another way of handling and walking through this lifetime without always being caught inside these up and downs of life. Yes, and this is how I would at the moment express what that whole expression and idea is about: harmony, about balance, about stability, about unity. It means that you feel into your life right now, feel inside how you feel about your life right now. And now everything that you are doing, try to make it in such a way that your feelings on the inside do not have huge fluctuations. Yeah? So that means somebody gives you a present, and normally before you would be very, very euphoric. So you had this great happiness rising. Practice a little bit, don't let it rise too quick. So somebody give you a present, you can be still very, very thankful you are. But your emotional state is not rising. Yeah? At the same time, before somebody, maybe from your team, he told you, oh, I'm sorry, but this one project I tried, it didn't work out, so no results there. And normally maybe before we would be angry and would be sad about it and would say, oh, what the hell, yeah? But this time it's just like, even with this bad message inside of you, don't let it drop. It doesn't drop, it remains. Yeah? And in a way that means this is just the first beginning to learn and control yourself. That you are not following these fluctuations of lifetime. It doesn't mean you cannot at every time. You can still decide, but now I want to be happy. Now I want to have this expressive feeling. This is not a problem, but only after you have learned that you can also remain in a stable state. Because what is the advantage of this stable state? You know what you can build your life upon. No matter if you are going to be rich in this lifetime, you don't lose yourself. Yeah? If somebody insulting you very, 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 very much, you know you are never going to lose yourself. There is that one person in this lifetime that that person cannot be raised more than he is, and he cannot be lower more than he is, because he has always been stable. No matter how many compliments you give him, he will always remain stable. He won't raise up. No matter how much you insult him, you cannot insult him, because you cannot get him down, because he is always remaining in the stable state. He's unshakable. And this is, in a way, maybe, and 100% compatible when it comes to striving for something. It's just that during the times, things are going to change. Nobody in the Shaolin temple, not from the Shaolin temple in China, and not from the Shaolin temple here, and not in any other martial art aspects, has ever came out a very highly skilled master or grandmaster or teacher or instructor who did not somewhere in his mind had the willpower to strive for a better version of himself. Yeah? Those skills did not come from sitting and dreaming about having them. They came because you could see yourself evolving to a better version, and that's why you took the initiative and pursued that goal. And if this better version of yourself now involves physical skills, or if it involves mental skills, or if that if that additional benefit means financial wealth, at the end it doesn't really matter what it is. Yeah? It's always worthwhile to strive for something that you regard as important for your life. But now comes the point. We are regarding these things as important for our life. But now you ask yourself the question, what is going to happen when a martial art practitioner you from the Shaolin temple. Now you are still physically active. Now you can still perform a lot of different things. You can still express everything that you have attained through all this hardship and the training. But you're also getting old. So maybe in 5-10 years, you can't do all of this anymore. So how are you going to feel about it? If I would have not stopped, or if I would have not paid close attention already, to not rely my being only on these physical abilities, it would probably be really hard. It would be really hard to realize that others, they are younger, others, they are having more time for training even. So it's impossible to rely my being on something that I have attained. Something that you have attained, you are going to lose. Attainment is there because you can lose it. But attainment also means it's not you. You are the one who can attain things. That's why don't identify yourself with the attainment. Don't identify yourself as rich. You can be rich, but you are not richness, because richness will leave you one day. But if I can be rich, I can be rich. But if this richness one day leaves, well, then it left. But I am still me. That's the difference. I can be a successful person, but I am not success. Because if you are success, you're gonna lose it. Yeah. And so this is it's just a small mental switch, I would say, that makes the difference. Yeah. It is absolutely irrelevant, and it's 100% compatible if somebody decides he wants to have and live a very expressive way of life nowadays in the 21st century. That is the freedom that you have right now. That is the purpose why we all are able to live a life, to find a way. How do you want to express yourself in this world? And in the best case, what type of spirit, what type of expression can you contribute to that zeitgeist, to that conscious spirit at the moment? Not all the 8 billion people right now on the world need to have the same spirit. But the more people are there that are causing chaos, the more spirit of structure and stability and order must also exist in the same time frame. We don't have to be everybody the same, but because there are people that are based upon injustice, we need to be people that are righteous. And the question for every single one is simply, what type of contribution are you willing to give to that spirit? It starts with your abilities. Yeah? It starts, be responsible for yourself. Be kind to yourself. Feel yourself the thankfulness about this life, the thankfulness towards your parents. Yeah? You need to feel it first. And when you feel it, then you can make other people around you feel it. Because you know what type of feeling it is that you want to transmit to them. And this is what life is about. It's the transmission of feeling. Yeah? And this feeling is separated from the way how things look on the outside. Somebody can ride the bicycle and he has that feeling. Somebody can lay on the beach and he has that feeling. Somebody can practice the martial arts and he has the feeling. Somebody can just film his video and make his footage and he has this feeling. It's not on the outside how it looks that what is important, what is the value of all of this. It is the feeling which is underlying all of this. And that's the only thing that amongst 8 billion people, what would be able to have in common. A feeling, never the way how we live our life.
Only 13% of you have got the notification bell pressed. Hit that button. I have about 5 new projects coming out and I want you guys to see it. The subscribers aren't getting to see it at the moment, so I want to hit that notification bell. Go do it right now. Come on, guys. No, you don't have to really, but if you can, hit the notification bell.
Have this inspiration in the mind, and then they start to manifest because they know that mind is so powerful. I am capable of doing it. So they use the power of the mind to manifest something and either benefit themselves or maybe benefit others. But it is the same powerful mind, which for other people then at the same time is creating the fear. But instead of understanding, yeah, but it's the mind, I just need to switch it over and make it useful for me. No, they stay inside the fear becomes more, the powerful fear becomes even stronger, and then it becomes so strong, the fear, that it even blocks people in doing anything. But the fear, it's a construct of the mind in the first place. You fear that you get a car is going to hit you tomorrow. Yeah, hello, we are not tomorrow. We are here right now. Why you think about tomorrow the car could hit you? Who says it's going to happen? And where is the evidence it's going to happen? Where's the evidence it's not going to happen? You don't know. Stop thinking about tomorrow. The music is playing here right now. But this fear of the future, this anxiety of what if? Yeah, what if and what if not? Both of them are there. But the problem with the fear is very strong. Fear is just nothing to let your life be determined by. Yeah, but then you ask yourself, but why? Because there is something else which is hindering him at the moment. And oftentimes this can be fear. Fear is number one. Fear of existence for some people. Fear of losing is the other thing. Fear is like the main runner. How do we deal with fear, for example? It's just like this. Fighting is not fun. Fighting against somebody else who also is trained, and then even if you have like gloves on, doesn't matter, is quite painful sometimes. And also, very honestly, I don't like even to fight. It's not that I like it, but I feel the challenge about it. I feel how much I need to like jump over myself now to go out there and just, even if it's just training. So that means for a martial artist normally, it becomes like a different perspective when it comes to fear. Because it's all the time when you walk out there that you're dealing with fear. Fear of what if I lose? What if like he hit me? What if I get hurt? Yeah, what if I don't stand up anymore? So many fears is it that you are dealing with, but ultimately you conquer them. The outlook on the rest of the life looks different. It changes something inside of you. It changes the perspective, how you are looking at things, where you see other people, they are living in fear, but fear of nothing. Fear of something they have created with the mind. People have this inspiration in the mind, and then they start to manifest because they know that mind is so powerful. I am capable of doing it. So they use the power of the mind to manifest something and either benefit themselves or maybe benefit others. But it is the same powerful mind, which for other people then at the same time is creating the fear. But instead of understanding, yeah, but it's the mind, I just need to switch it over and make it useful for me. No, they stay inside the fear becomes more, the powerful fear becomes even stronger, and then it becomes so strong, the fear, that it even blocks people in doing anything. Why you think about tomorrow the car could hit you? Who says it's going to happen? And where is the evidence it's going to happen? Where's the evidence it's not going to happen? You don't know. Stop thinking about tomorrow. The music is playing here right now. The fearful part is one day you look back and say, you have wasted your lifetime. This is the fearful part.
If you want to support us at mulliganbrothers.com, everybody who has been buying the journal ready for 2023, go follow us on social media at Mulligan Brothers. Have a blessed and productive day, and I'll see you in the next one.
No one is born as a superhero. You can only give out pain to another person when you yourself have received that pain before. If I start to do some type of training, no matter what it is, at a certain point I am reaching my level where I either feel the exhaustion or sometimes I'm also feeling the level of pain that I'm able to take. Now the question is, what are you going to do exactly at this borderline? I can only give the pain to others. that I have received already. My bones can only be as hard as I have hit whatever was hard like that. And so that means take it as a challenge. Everything that hurts you, find a way to overcome it. Everything that you feel is difficult for you, find a way to still do it. As long as you can do the things, stop listening to the mind. No pain, no gain. We are not superhuman. We are not perfect. But I know that every time I face something and I feel, okay, I'm not good enough at the moment, at least I know what needs to be done. And so for me, in a way, every time I face something, every time I'm being exposed to a new challenge, every time when I feel it's a challenge, it only tells me there again is a chance now to grow, let's say. Now, of course, some people might say, yeah, but what's the point of this growing? What do you mean by growing? Why would I always need to accept every challenge just for the sake of growing? Because this growing is the opposite of something is decreasing, something is dying, something is closing up. Grow, open up is the same as to bring light into the things. It doesn't matter what challenges it is that you are facing there. It is the fundamental principle behind it that you do not run away, that you are open for everything that is being thrown at you. It is this type of mindset to also understand, I didn't ask for an easy life. I take what comes. If it leaves, I let it pass. A mindset that I think is paying off later, big times, is when you're starting to incorporate into your daily life, into the daily perspective and understanding that this world has not been created for you to only enjoy the peaceful aspects about it, regardless of where you are born, with which, let's say, prerequisites you have been born into this world. Everyone is going to face challenges. These are different challenges, but you are going to face them because living this life is ultimately connected with challenges. The question is, how are you now going to deal with it? What can you do knowing that you're gonna walk this lifetime and you will have challenges, mental challenges, physical challenges. And there I can only come up with an answer. Prepare yourself. Prepare and condition the mind in such a way that you are first of all not starting to run away. There are two things in that, let's say, warrior mindset, if you call it like this, to be avoided. Number one is to run away. Because running away means that whatever just came into your life, you can't learn from it anymore because there is again distance between that new situation and yourself. And at the same time, there is no connection, meaning you can't have an influence on it. So therefore, number one, face it. Number one, face it. And number two now, and this is also a quite difficult part, no one is born as a superhero. And nobody is naturally born as being a strong and confident personality. These are things that from time to time, from situation to situation, start to emerge from inside of you because it's growing inside of you based on how you are behaving towards yourself. And now after finding yourself in a situation that is challenging to you, it also takes a different type of mindset to also be able to say that I'm not well prepared enough. I'm not good enough at the moment to take that challenge. And afterwards, prepare. So that means number one, don't run away. And number two, be honest to yourself. Those two things, if you keep them in mind and then just put time, effort into practice, I think is the key to step by step build something up about yourself, about your life, about your character and personality that will give you some strong fundament in order to tackle everything that this world is going to throw at you. The two things to keep in mind is you do not look away when challenges come. And number two is you don't blame yourself if at that moment in time you are not able to face it. The only thing you're gonna do is you step back, you take time for yourself, you invest the work and prepare yourself to return. Once you really commit and also commit to a certain type of practice, that means you need to bring out that discipline. It is that discipline that is fueling up this drive, because we know that it's not easy, but no pain, no gain. When I'm lying in the bed and the alarm goes on, for example, if I'm trying to convince myself, come, there's 5 more minutes, that's a bad idea. Yeah. So that's why I really got used to it rings, and then it's really like, in a way, I try to get out of bed as quick as possible. Then it's done. But in the moment where I start to get comfortable again, it becomes just more difficult. Yes, because that mind always wants to trick you and test you and challenge you. If there's not something that he can still like readjust you. No, but discipline in a way really means it rings, wake up. Because that feeling of not wanting to wake up, that feeling of, but it's hard, I'm tired, whatever, it will pass after some time. And there is no other way than just learning to get over things like this. That's it. We all have it here. It's just that we also know there is a price if you don't do it, and there's a price if you do it. And it's just up to you to decide which of those two passes of development would you like to be in. At the same time now, like looking out at in the society, I also think that sometimes this strong mindset is also not existing anymore because of the lack of movement. There is that moment where the animal comes out. There is that moment where it's like your animal instinct comes out, which is producing suddenly more of this power. There is something which wants to push through it. In the different methods of what we are practicing here, there are also things to call out this type of instinct. But now, the MMA fighters, they have it. Everybody who practices this type of physical activity that at some point is related to a very high extent of energy, let's say. You have that moment where you need to push yourself to bring out that energy, to bring out that fire. But if your daily work, if your daily week is only sitting in front of your desk and doing, office work, that fire doesn't come out. And if it comes out, it goes in the wrong direction. It goes in the direction of the head. It goes into the head because you're angry about something. But this fire of angriness and the fire of motivation are two different ones. Because the fire of angriness is something you cannot, in a way, control. But the fire of motivation, the fire of trying to achieve something for a better version of yourself, is something that if you practice it long enough, you can recall it because you have that fire inside of you. Strong mind goes together with strong body. I think there is a similarity with it because you cannot reach to have a strong body if there is not the fuel behind it that gave you the push, the motivation to do so in order that you finally develop in that direction. So, and a lot of different jobs that are existing nowadays, or let's say the lifestyle, that when hard times come, you just push through. If sometimes these decisions were first-time decisions, where you just had no experience before. But this is the whole point, why it's important to sometimes be faced with different challenges, with different problematic situations. For you to turn on the intelligence and find a solution. But if after the first time you're already giving up, then there's no outcome. Then there's nothing that you have learned. The only thing that you're remaining right now is regret and sorrow, which is neither going to bring you forward nor anything else, because you have not understood the message yet, why you ended up in that situation. You need to overcome it. Your next level of development comes in the moment where level 1 is solved. You found the solution for level 1. Now, challenge number 2, next level. As long as you don't find the key for level number 2, Stay there many years, repeating over and over again until you see it. If everybody would have the ability to bring out the self-discipline, you don't need like disciplinary masters. Meaning you don't need a monastery also that takes care that you are keeping that external rules and the external structure. But like, for example, today, all the young guys that came, if they would already be so self-disciplined that they know exactly what they can do, what they cannot do, if they want to achieve something, that they just focus on that. If they knew all of these things, well, then they don't need this monastery anymore. But the point is that no human being, or a few, let's say, or very little, it's difficult sometimes if you are surrounded with different environments to always remind yourself back again. What is the state of being to keep on walking? And therefore, if it is not existing in the beginning coming from yourself, that's why we need sometimes external support. And the same goes for the question, if somebody finds himself in that place of darkness, either you find a way that you can find some light in there and then make it shine brighter from day to day. Once the cup is empty, now it can be filled up again. What is it that might be the key that you learn to let go of something? And this letting go is of course going to be uncomfortable. Why? Because it is something that no one normally in our school systems, you don't find the subject how to let go. You find the subject how to get more. And so that means in that moment when people are getting confronted the first time with this type of teachings, it's uncomfortable. And so someone is always confronted between here, then he's brought down. Then he gets methods how he will build himself up again. Then he gets smashed down again. And so it continues. Every time when we as humans feel something is lacking, the answer is just consume more, which means just go out and look where are you going to find something that is going to fill up that gap, to fill up that hole that you are feeling. That is the approach that we have outside. But by observing this type of behavior, I think you can see that no matter how much you consume, no matter how much of these offerings you are taking, you never become full. It's always only a question of time until your new desire starts to arise. It always just fills that small gap, that small hole for a short moment. This feeling that suddenly something has hit really deep, has packed the core. This is the essence of what we call the Zen teachings, the Chan teachings, where the Shaolin temple belongs into. These are the teaching methods, meaning getting out of the comfort zone is part of the process. If I realize somebody already starts to feel like very confident again, very bright, then I know, okay, it's time to shut him down again. So someone is always confronted between here, then he's brought down. Then he gets methods how he will build himself up again. Then he gets smashed down again. And so it continues. Last week you said I should do like this. So you told me to go in this direction. Today I'm asking you the same question, but you are telling me I should go in that direction. And I said, yes. 3 weeks after, Shifu, now you tell me 3 different things. This direction, that direction, and then once again, you're telling me in this direction. What type of teaching method is that? It is for you to figure out yourself after you have wandered between the different extremes that are existing. First, I push you in that direction. Then you walk. Then I tell you other direction. Then you walk there. Then maybe we change again. Then you walk back there. Until you realize it's not here and it's not here. It's all of that. That's possible. Discovering what type of a person you are, what type of character you are, and just to reset yourself for whatever is going to come afterwards. So, and ultimately, what for? Why should a disciple go through all of these, this type of education? Because once the cup is empty, now it can be filled up again. Today we are famous And today we are very proud of the Shaolin warrior monks. Why are we always keeping up that word warrior monks? Because they are expressing something. They are expressing something which, when you can feel it, you feel it's something very special to have nowadays. To not give up when the times are getting hard. It's not just the Shaolin who are living this type of spirit, but they also possess it. Because this is what makes the difference between someone that we call a warrior and maybe another person. Somebody that we call who succeeds and somebody you maybe call today a loser. The difference is both are going to come to the point where they are facing the challenge and when they are maybe facing also their defeat for the first time. The only difference is that the warrior keeps going. And somebody who does not have enough courage, who does not have enough discipline, who does not have willpower, maybe he just does not have the power anymore to keep on going and going and going after he failed so many times. But because of these failures, because there is something inside of you which feels that you don't want to fail the fourth and fifth and sixth time anymore. Because of this, something else inside of you starts to become very, very strong. We can try in the beginning to remove ourselves a little bit from the wording, because I think everybody who hears the word warrior, he will already have something in the mind what he is considering a warrior to be. We can take any successful person nowadays. I don't think that this person reached his success or reached his position where he is at the moment without having some guiding principles in his lifetime. And one of them certainly is structure. I don't think he reached that point by just doing what he wants during the day. Maybe right now he's in the position that he can do what he wants. But how he got there is not by doing what he wanted. He put himself a structure, he put himself a guideline, and no matter how he felt during that day, this was the code, this was the mission, and this is what he kept. If you feel tired or not, if you are in the mood to do it or not, you had your structure and you kept it. Don't lose sight. Don't lose sight. Be open of what the future brings. On the one side, it's also very important to not have too much fixed goals in your own life. So that means don't make too concrete pictures in the mind of how the future should look like. But what all of life's purpose, all of the 24 hours day you do have, is that you can shape the direction of where those goals are going to appear. So it is the direction in a way that we are shaping. It starts really with the simple things. Even so that we're in the 21st century and the possibilities of doing and exploring this world are so huge, it doesn't mean that you should freely do what you want at all times. This is not the way of how in the monastery, in the Shaolin temple, we are regarding it as a healthy way of growing. To discover, to explore, to make something from your journey means you need to walk. We need to be active. But now the question is, when you look at your 24-hour day, how much of this 24-hour day is it active and how much of it is it like waiting, sitting and passively observing? Yes, so my name is Shi Heng Yi. I am currently the headmaster here from the Shaolin Temple Europe. Father, he wanted me to start practicing with the age of 4, to just join a Shaolin school nearby here in Kaiserslautern, Germany, where I just start my practice. I stayed with whatever I started with and never really gave up on falling into different directions. There came some hard times where I really wanted to give up and didn't follow up anymore on the martial arts side, But my father, in that sense, he never gave me a choice to even consider of quitting something that I started so early in age. In the very beginning, also for me, I have to say that every time I watched the Shaolin movies and every time something about Shaolin came onto my mind, in the first place I was always limiting it in a way to the physical aspects and meaning to the physical abilities of these people, of these persons who were practicing the Shaolin arts. But now, after 34 years, how can I say? It is a very, very important aspect, the physical training. But there will come the time when you simply have to realize that it's impossible to keep up this physicality on the long run. No matter how much performance you can deliver at this very moment. But just due to the simple facts of we are getting old, we are having more restrictions inside our body, it's impossible to keep up that performance on the long term. So therefore, it becomes very, very relevant that there are other aspects about the human, about yourself, which is more sustainable and that you can keep up for a much, much longer time. I became better because I compared myself with others. I saw how others were doing their performance. I saw how skillful other people were. And that's why I looked up to them in the beginning and try to ask myself, okay, they can do it. How can I try and get to that point as well? And so that means competition and that competitive mind in the very beginning was an important aspect of, of challenging yourself and of also trying to get the best version out of you. But meanwhile, things just have shifted a little bit. And the purpose right now, why I'm training, why I'm still pushing myself, now it has shifted that I don't have the competitive mind in comparison to somebody else, but now it's really to myself only. And that means that it's endless in a way. It becomes endless, this path of how much you can grow. Because you simply just take yourself as that one person that you try to improve. And at the same time, because now it's yourself that you are taking as this idol and as the best version comparison, this also means you have a much deeper insight into the person that you're comparing yourself with. Because before, you saw the physical abilities and you saw the skills of another person. But sometimes you didn't see their character. But now, because it is yourself that you are facing with, now you can dive much deeper into what you are actually made out of. Humans like stability, to be stable, to be balanced. That means, also now talking from the martial arts, when you start your training, no matter what type of system it is, the first things you normally learn in the martial arts is the proper way of standing, which means the proper way of aligning your body on the earth. Because we say if you cannot stand firmly, no matter what type of techniques and applications you're trying to do afterwards, they can only be as good as your foundation is. And this foundation means for us stability of the body, stability of the legs. But now trying to translate this into the modern way of living a life. I mean, it's very, very similar. You can start off easily nowadays to try and become famous very quickly, try to build up a very high level lifestyle. But the question ultimately is, all these things, one day they will reach their peak and they will vanish again. And then the question remains, what is the foundation that is going to hold you up? Because sometimes living a fast way up also means it's going to be a fast way down. That's why very often we say, just look outside the tree. It does not happen in the whole universe that you are planting this tree on one day and 1 week after you have that huge tree standing in front of you. It's just not happening in this world. When it comes to such a word like a balance, it's not that you know from the mind that you do something about it, it is because you can feel that something needs to be done. It's like if you try one day, maybe when you have a child, and try to explain to him how to ride the bicycle. You can tell him, in order to ride the bicycle, you need to learn to be perfectly in balance. So the left side of your body and the right side, there must be 50-50 of weight distribution. Front side, back side, 50-50. It doesn't matter how long we are going to explain it to the child. You know that the child understood what balance is in the moment where he can ride the bicycle. Because then you know he just discovered something. Now he has it. And the same is like now for us. So that means now it's not the bicycle that we are riding. Now it is your life. It is your life. It is the things that right now are happening in your life. It is the amount of how many bad messages, let's say, are you receiving at the moment. Yeah? How is your sleep at the moment? How is your appetite at the moment? How is your general mood at the moment? All of this right now together, this is where you start to get a feeling for it. You feel, this is my life. This is how my life feels at the moment. And when you now feel that something is not correct there, then you balance it out. And the easy way to just balance out, this is what we describe as there is an observation part and there's an active part. For many, many people, I think to start with those two levels of balancing would already be enough. That simply means maybe you are too active in some parts and maybe you're too passive in other parts. No matter in what you are investing it, every one of us has 24 hours that we can work with. Any other skill that you can develop in this world, any skill must be nourished over and over again. And this is why there is the saying, for example, the real skill, the Kung Fu, what we call Kung Fu, yeah, it's a skill attained by investing a lot of effort. And the only way in order to express this is by repetitive structure, repetitive movements. And therefore is the saying, perfection comes from repetition. Because this is also why somebody becomes so good in filming, making very nice video shots, very nice footage. Why? How come? I'm sure he very often had his camera in his hands. Somebody who is practicing or is in the martial art fields, his lifetime, his 24-hour day must be filled with martial art way of life. So in order to know in what is a person good in, you just need to look at the 24-hour day, at the 7 days a week, at every month, and at the last 2-3 years. And then you can very much tell already what type of skills a person, for example, can develop or has developed. If something appears in your lifetime that you like, you see something that you like, or you hear something that you like, so something comes there into your lifetime and you like it, then we say, don't pull. If something appears in your lifetime that you don't like, that means that you would normally reject, there we say, don't push. So I like it, that's why I want to keep it as good as I can, and I want to bring it even closer to me. Then what is going to happen is one day when the time comes, whatever you try to pull towards you, it's simply going to move even away from you. At the same time, something comes and you rejected it right from the beginning. It's just a question of time until whatever you push away from you starts to move very close to you. You just need to watch around you from the moment that we are born. From the moment that we are born, your amount of inhalation and exhalation is exactly 50-50. The amount of days and the amount of nights until right now, it's 50-50. Nothing stays the way how it is. Success never stays success, because success is based upon failure. A healthy person never will stay only healthy. He is healthy because sickness exists. A rich man never stays rich forever. He's only rich right now because poorness also exists. Maybe one day we're gonna ask ourselves, there must be another way of handling and walking through this lifetime without always being caught inside these up and downs of life. Yes, and this is how I would at the moment express what that whole expression and idea is about: harmony, about balance, about stability, about unity. No matter if you are going to be rich in this lifetime, you don't lose yourself. There is that one person in this lifetime. That person cannot be raised more than he is, and he cannot be lower more than he is, because he has always been stable. No matter how many compliments you give him, he will always remain stable. He won't raise up. No matter how much you insult him, you cannot insult him, because you cannot get him down, because he is always remaining in the stable state. He's unshakable. It's always worthwhile to strive for something that you regard as important for your life. Something that you have attained, you are going to lose. Attainment is there because you can lose it. But attainment also means it's not you. You are the one who can attain things. That's why don't identify yourself with the attainment. Don't identify yourself as rich. You can be rich, but you are not richness, because richness will leave you one day. But if I can be rich, I can be rich. But if this richness one day leaves, well, then it left. But I am still me. That's the difference. I can be a successful person, but I am not success. Because if you are success, you're gonna lose it. Yeah. And so it's just a small mental switch, I would say, that makes the difference. How do you want to express yourself in this world? When you set yourself a mission to have the vitality, to have the power, to have the mindset, to have the determination, yeah, to have the willpower, just as we know them from the Shaolin warrior monks today. And it's not just in our tradition where I am coming from right now. These were the idols that I grew up with. But maybe if you would talk to another person which maybe has his descendants coming from Japan, maybe he would take the Japanese samurai as an example of the warrior codex. Maybe you go to the United States, I don't know, maybe over there you can take the Navy SEALs as an elite special force, which is also expressing a very powerful mindset in many different ways. So different cultural traditions had different idols, different type of powerful spirits that you can look up to. And from where I come from, these were the warrior monks. Hardship is never easy. When it comes to the pure practice of the martial arts, so the Kung Fu training, there is an expression which is sometimes called, if you make this education to a Shaolin master, to a Kung Fu master, you are normally walking through the valley of pain. Yeah? This is how it's expressed. Because it involves a lot of physical conditioning, a lot of physical challenges that you need to cross. That means it happens in the stretching, it happens when you are just building up your stamina, it happens when your body starts to grow, it happens in every single aspect that you need to challenge your body, and you need to challenge especially the mind. So this is the one side of it. But by far more difficult is really to decide how committed are you to really do something about your life.
Thank you to everybody at mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now get the hoodies, the t-shirts, and the Inspire Change hoodies dropping very soon
Repetition
as well.
is your friend. Not huge jumping. It is the repetition of things that starts to embody something inside of you. So instead of making huge plans with huge steps, better think about how to structure your 24 hours and put a little bit of what you want to develop there inside that day. Because instead of huge steps, what we are using as a method is continuity. That one is your friend. Repetition is your friend. If you have a goal and if you know what type of skills, which tools you are going to need to make this goal become true, I do think you need to figure out how you're going to get to those skills, first of all, and then make a plan and invest in them. And at least in the Kung Fu training, it is like this, that we say some skills, they come after years of training. You might feel the benefit of a certain skill already pretty soon. But ultimately, it's repetition. Of course, you can have self-affirmations and use this as a method to push yourself because you want to achieve something. But from time to time, it's really necessary to test yourself. You talk to yourself, you give positive feedback to yourself, you give affirmations to yourself. You can create an image about yourself. And then from time to time, you need to make the test if what you imagine to be is who you are. That is the important step. Because if you do not do the testing, then it's pretty easy that sometimes you're going to get lost in the world of your thoughts that sometimes have nothing anymore to do with how life for you really is. You live in a dream world. You live in a fantasy world. This can happen very quickly if you are using too much of these type of methods. Music, self-affirmation, visualization, all of these things. If you do not test, if you test, you can use everything. Because from time to time, that test is just gonna show you, and that's where you really are. And then you readjust. But if you have all of these methods which pump you up, but you never do the testing, then I would say be careful about that one. So I think there is something which lies in our hands, and there is something which sometimes is not dependent from whatever we are doing. But in the moment where your actions are in harmony with, let's say, some energies, some possibilities that at that point in time are anyway apparent there, something can happen.